Welcome back to the podcast, everyone. I'm your host, Tamara. Today we are continuing our fantasy series, and we are discussing the second in the Serpent and Dove trilogy. If you would like to see this in video format without ad breaks, you'll need to head on over to Patreon to sign up. We also have fun after shows available on Patreon, including one for today's episode. If Patreon isn't your style, don't worry, you can still hear all of the after shows and exclusive content in audio-only format over on the Spreaker app. Sign up as a supporter to gain access. Don't forget, you can also join me and my two co-hosts over on the Book Club's app for even more bookish chats. Please subscribe and like the podcast wherever you're listening. And if you'd like to reach out to me, you can find me pretty much everywhere at Shelf Addiction. Joining me today is feature co-host Casey from Heart Full of Ink. Welcome back, Casey.
Hello. I'm so excited to be here.
Are you ready to talk about this?
I am ready.
You're ready?
I'm so ready. It's going to be good.
I hope so. So before we get started, please tell everyone where they can find you.
You can find me on Facebook at Heartful of Ink, on Instagram at Casey_Heartful of Ink, or on my website, heartfulofink.com.
Okay, awesome. So before we get started, of course, we'd like to remind you that as always with book chats, we talk full spoilers here. So spoiler alert, you have been warned. Today, we are discussing Blood and Honey, written by Shelby Mahurin. Hope I got it right this time. The audiobook is narrated by Holter Graham and Skoski Marleveld. Hope I got that right too. Published on September 1st, 2020 by Harper Teen and Harper Audio. The hardcover comes in at 536 pages, and the unabridged audio is 14 hours and 18 minutes. Casey, would you kindly share the synopsis?
Where you go, I will go. Lou and Reed have been reunited, but they are pursued on all sides by Coven, Kingdom, and Church. Their time and luck is running out. Where you stay, I will stay. As Morgan baits them into a lethal game of cat and mouse, they are forced to seek out dangerous allies with no promise of loyalty. For as long as we both shall live. Bound to Lou always, Reed's vows were clear. Where Lou goes, he will follow. And where she stays, he will stay. And as Lou explores a shadowy side of magic that she believes necessary to protect those she loves, her actions may cost Reed the one thing he can't bear to lose.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun.
Okay, so before we begin, I would like to say I had to pour a glass of wine for this.
No, for the podcast. If you told me, I would have my own glass already, too.
It was impromptu. I literally grabbed it 2 minutes before I sat down. And I haven't drank during a podcast for a while. It's been a long while. If you want, we can pause so you can grab a drink. Would you like to?
Maybe. Let's wait 5 minutes.
So last time I said I would start early.
Mm-hmm.
I did not start early. So I started, I don't know, I guess I got this done in 4.5 days. So I guess that's kind of early because usually I allow like 3 days, maybe 4. So I started a little early, but I decided I wanted to take a different approach. The last time I marked all the things I did not like.
Mm-hmm.
This time, I just started to mark things that I thought were interesting.
Okay.
And or cute or whatever had a positive vibe or okay, that's interesting vibe. That's what I did.
Okay.
And I think
there's a lot of sticky notes.
It helped my reading experience a lot to on purpose take a different point of view.
Okay.
Although I still have problems, but by me actively, because I felt like I just came across like I really hated that first book. So I really on purpose decided I'm going to try something different with book 2 and hope I get a better result. So that is what I want to start the conversation by saying. Do you have anything you'd like to share before we get to the high level?
Nope, I'm ready to hear what you have to say.
So I finished yesterday. You finished?
This morning.
This morning?
Yes.
Okay. High level, when you finished the book, what did you think?
Well, one, spoiler alert, I'm crying because of Ansel. I knew it was coming. It was so obvious it was going to happen, but still, I'm so devastated by this. Mm-hmm. And two, I'm kind of intrigued by this plot twist at the end where it's not Lou who is Lou anymore.
Yeah, she literally isn't.
Yep. Do you think it's a body double or just mind control?
Well, she drank something.
Mm-hmm. But
So
so was what's her name? She drank something first. The crazy girl.
Nicolina, there we go.
Yeah.
Oh God,
I
all the
thought she
French
drank
stuff.
something.
I don't remember, honestly.
I'm trying to reread really fast. But anyway, Lou is not Lou anymore. So I'm intrigued by that. I'm curious to see how this is all going to pan out. But Ansel, my poor sweet Ansel.
You know, the minute she said, what's her face? Why am I forgetting everybody's name? I should have a
Yeah, we
list
needed
of
to write down
names.
a list of names.
Yeah. So the minute Coco, there it is,
Yeah.
said, you know, you're going to
Oh,
lose someone you love. I said, oh, we
it's going to
know
be
it's
Ansel.
going to be, I knew that
Yeah, oh yeah,
immediately.
absolutely. The fact that Ansel's been here the whole time and she's bonded with him and she's, doting on him like a big sister. I was like, something terrible is going to happen to Ansel.
Mm-hmm.
Like the whole time. She was setting it up to be terrible. So I knew it was coming.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just so devastated at the same time because he didn't deserve to die like that. She could have killed Coco and that would have been better.
You'd have been okay with it.
A little bit because Coco deserves better. I have a whole rant about how Coco deserves better than all of this.
Yeah. Coco kind of got a bad rep a little bit in this book for how she decided to deal with Ansel and his crush.
Well, not just that, but like the way everybody's been treating Coco as like second class. You're just the follower. You're just here to support Lou. And then Lou fucking sets her on fire and she still defends Lou. And I'm like,
She does.
no, you need to drop this friend. You need to
And
drop her
there's
like a hot potato and go away.
honestly, there's no like, there's no treating her like. She
Hmm.
is that. She
Yes.
is second or third.
Hmm. She's just so. Coco deserves so much better. Even if she
Yeah.
didn't love Ansel, even if she's gonna go be with Babette or Bo or who the fuck ever, like she doesn't need to be around Lou
Why did we have to have that at all between her and Ansel? Why did that have to happen at all?
to torture Ansel,
But
to make his
why?
life sad
It would have
for
been
extra
okay
drama
if he
and
mooned after her and she just treated him like a brother. They didn't have to be doing that.
no.
I don't know. I agree with you. She kind of always she gets the raw deal.
Hmm.
She's not treated fairly, I don't think. And well, high level, let me
Yeah,
go
yeah, yeah.
here first.
Let's go back to high level.
I thought, well, that's interesting. I thought that, and I said, okay, well, I'm curious now, how long is it going to take for them to figure out that she's being controlled? I think she's just being controlled,
Okay.
or like she's a puppet, kind of like
Hmm.
how Cecilia was. Like, you know, like it wasn't
Yeah.
the words out of her mouth weren't that, but she could not walk where
Walk.
she wanted to
Hmm.
walk or go where she wanted to go. So I think in this case, it's kind of like she's going to be a puppet somehow. And I think we're going to have chapters, if I had to guess, we're going to have chapters of her. And I've seen this in other books and movies where the person is like fighting it in their brain. Like
Hmm.
we're going to have her talking to herself, trying to like break out of this
Hmm.
while she's doing and saying things that she doesn't want to.
Yes.
So I'm like, okay, how long are we going to see before Reed's like, something not quite right? Something is amiss.
Hopefully just a couple of chapters, but the way Lou has been so fucking erratic and strange in this book, it might take half the book before anybody realizes she's not actually Lou, if not
Hmm.
longer,
Right.
because she is not sane or normal or herself and hasn't been this entire book.
Yeah, actually I think part of my problem is that I don't still really like Lou or Reed still. At the end of all of this, I don't I'm not rooting for them still.
It's I like Reed more and I like Lou less than after the end of the first book.
It took Reed all the way to the end of the book, basically, to get to the point where I found him tolerable.
That's fair.
Because he was saying things still halfway through the book. Now we had guessed before he would have problems with being a witch, which happened, but just the things he would say, like offhandedly, like unnecessarily mean things he would say here and there. And the way he kept flipping the script on his mother, like, do you forgive the woman or not? What is happening?
Not. I don't really blame him.
Until, oh God, and this is what he did in the first, oh my God, they're going to kill my mom. Let me cry about it. Oh my God. I'm so mad. I'm so sad. They took her. And now I'm mad. That's what happened before. Like, okay, I'm going to be an asshole up until like lives are at risk. And now I suddenly care and all of this. So that's his MO. He just be like, whatever, until someone's about to die or he thinks someone's about to die, which is annoying to me. So I don't know. I don't hate him.
That's
but
good.
I don't like him either. He's tolerable. I'm still not rooting for them because I still don't necessarily believe the relationship yet.
It's a hard pill to swallow. They kept talking about how much they love each other and how they're bound together forever, and it's always us forever and always. And I'm like, you've known each other like what, 3 weeks at this point? You've had longer relationships with your underwear. What? How do you know she's forever? That's not. And the way she is being so erratic and she is being so strange.
I feel like we needed more of the in-between to show the growth of their relationship. They're either like at the beginning, they're highly sexualizing their thing, like they are all over each other. They're like hot and cold.
Oh yeah.
I'm on you or I'm not telling you stuff and you get on my nerves, go away. They do this game and
which is really annoying. It was annoying. Yeah. I will say that I really, really appreciated the fact that both of them were suffering from PTSD and we saw how they were suffering and they suffered in completely different ways, but it was still, they went through a lot of trauma. He killed his dad, which was technically her dad, and her mom almost killed her a second time. And so like, I appreciated the fact that Shelby let us stew in that for a bit. Because so often authors want to just bypass. They'll be like, all right, you killed your dad. Now you're fine and happy. And here's your happy ending. And everything's good and great. But he, was being haunted by the ghost of his father person. He kept hearing his voice everywhere. He thought he heard him everywhere. Like, I really appreciated the fact that he was traumatized by that and had to deal with that trauma. And was it annoying at times? Yes. But that made him more human in my eyes. So it was annoying, but also realistic, if that makes sense.
It does. I feel like one of the best scenes between them is when the funeral procession happened.
Oh, yes. Like that.
Yeah.
That was the most vulnerable moment of their relationship to date. And I think that's the best moment they've had in their relationship. Although the fights beforehand were so fucking stupid and I want to slap them both upside the head. I'm like, how can you go from this to that or that to this? Like, it's so fucking erratic on both ends.
It is erratic. And that is a sign of youth, I think, also. It's like you want these young people to be doing these very adult situations, these very serious, like life or death situations, but then they have this really lack of maturity happening.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yes.
Yeah.
It's Lou annoyed me so much this book just because she was being so erratic and she was making these stupid decisions constantly, but then acting like she was better than everybody because she was making decisions. And I was like, even, in the very beginning when they meet Claude, I was like, who the fuck is this man? Why are you just met him in a bar and now you're taking your whole gang, telling him who you are While he fully knows that, like, he can go get $1 million in rewards for you, and you just send Reed off with him like it's no big deal. Like, what? No, that's dumb. And everybody just
So
went along with it.
they did quite a few things that were honestly
Oh,
just dumb.
so many dumb things.
And I think the author made an error with Lou's character. Like, okay, so for example, like you were saying, she does these stupid things and we're supposed to trust her. Like, we're
Mhm.
supposed to just accept that the reason she's doing things makes sense when they don't.
Yeah.
And sometimes authors are able to twist that because in the end, it all comes together
Together.
and she
Mhm.
actually had a plan that worked.
Yeah.
But that wasn't the case here,
No.
and so all of the stuff they went through just seemed idiotic
Mhm.
at the end. I'm like, "Okay, so this guy," like you said, what's his name again?
Claude.
Claude.
Yeah.
We go through all of this bullshit when all Claude had to do was confront her
Mhm.
ass. Like, what was all of this? What was all of this at the end? And then we're gonna get to the end, and Claude's like, "Your power comes from mine. You're gonna back down because I said so." I'm like,
Mhm.
"What?
Yeah. Like, what the fuck? He's
What was
actually a
the point?"
god in disguise, and you
Yeah,
didn't need to go to the werewolves, you didn't need to go to the blood
right.
witches, you didn't need to do all this other bullshit, you could have just asked him, although, again, we had no idea who he was. For half the book, I fully expected him to turn Reed in. Like, I just expected him to take him straight to the castle and be like, "Here, hand me my money."
I just don't understand what his motivation was for doing it that way. If he said, I missed it. Did
He
he just
said he can't directly interfere until he was able to take away her magic. But even that was directly interfering. So, yeah.
I don't know, I feel like a lot of the times when you start getting in and you know what, the 3rd book tells us exactly what the hell we were getting into, gods and monsters,
Mhm.
right? But I feel like when you start playing around with the themes of gods, things get kind of murky. And unfortunately, this plot and this magic system is already still murky. It's still murky.
Mhm.
It's still
Mhm.
unclear. And now we're going to throw this in where gods are like tricksters, really. Like
Mhm.
they really ride the line. And a lot of the time when we read about them in books and stuff. So it's like, I think the 3rd book is going to be even more confusing.
Probably at this point, yeah, I think so.
I don't like it. I wish that I don't know. I just wanted Lou to be the hero in the end and she wasn't. Like I
Not
wanted her
even
to get a win.
remotely.
Yeah, like even if the twist happened, but I wanted her to feel like we did all of this, we got
Mhm.
something out of it. I even if
Mhm.
it's temporarily defeated my mother, my plan worked.
Worked.
All the sacrifices I took in
Mm.
lying and hiding was in the end it was a good result and it wasn't, which makes it all wasteful and I'm like, what am I even reading?
Mhm. Yeah, no, it's really hard to root for Lou, and that's why at this point, I like Reed better than I like Lou. And he's not perfect by any means, but if I had to rate them, I'd pick him over her. Absolutely.
Hmm. I would agree with that. If I had to put them side by side and said who's a better character,
Mhm.
it would be
'Cause
Reed.
his trauma was realistic. His aversion to magic, I can understand. It was annoying. Like, I want to reiterate, it was annoying, but I understand it. And the way Lou continually was so erratic and making stupid mistakes with magic and trying to force it onto him instead of gently teaching him, like, if she
That's
had
what was
just sat
missing.
down and started to gently teach him the way you would teach a 5-year-old how to read, that would have been so much better instead of saying, "Hey, in this crazy situation where you're going to be lying to people and somebody might stab you in the face, here's my 2-second version of how you do magic." And then it all goes to shit because, of course, it goes to shit because he doesn't know what he's doing. And everyone's like, "Oh my God, you just don't know how to use magic." I'm like, "Of course he doesn't."
You haven't taught him. That was what was missing
Hmm.
was the magic training montages.
Yes.
We needed some. Even
Yes.
if he was reluctant, we needed some where she is
Mhm.
explaining the rules, making him practice it. Even if
And
he's
she should have been doing that from page 1, day 1, when they were hiding in the forest. Like,
Mhm.
even if he was scared of magic, she should still tell him about it so he has some kind of baseline for it. Again,
Yeah,
she was so
instead
erratic and so just like, "Oh my god, you hate magic, I hate you. You hate me. Now go use magic or you hate me even more." And
oh
I'm like,
my
"No,
god.
bitch,
A
that's not how
and,
brains
like,
work."
during fights and stuff, she'd just be yelling stuff out, like,
Mhm.
things for him to do or, "Grab the cord, grab this tree, do this, do that."
Like,
I'm like,
how is he
"What?"
supposed to know that? How is he supposed to just grab like,
And I
no.
guess every time I guess he did he was successful a couple of times, but he also wasn't because
But
he
in
didn't really
only in, like,
have
really traumatic situations,
yeah,
like in book 1 when he used magic because she was dying, and then when they were at the water and he used it because she was dying again, like,
mhm,
he can use it in those situations, but then when he was in the caravan and he couldn't find it because he was just stressed and, like, nobody was dying yet.
mhm.
Plus, he had that weird voice in his head, and I was like, "If I had that weird voice in my head, I wouldn't wanna touch magic either."
So that's
Like,
something else. So, like, is the magic your, like, subconscious talking to you? Is it like a third a separate entity talking to
well,
you?
Lou's never had anything like that, so I'm assuming it was something different, but again, they don't really explain this magic system to us, so I can't tell you.
Even early on, and that's another big issue I have, the magic system, like I was saying, is not very flushed out and very it's not clear. And like even early on when, they come across Baz again and he can't remember shit.
Yeah.
And I'm like, do you not remember you did that to him? And then it comes out that
Apparently, she doesn't remember, like, she took away
I'm
her
like,
memory of doing it to him?
I don't know. I'm like, how did your memory of doing that get taken? Like, I don't remember you using that memory for anything.
I don't yeah. I know she passed out in the moment, but I didn't realize that she lost that memory. Like, that wasn't clear at all.
It
I know
wasn't
she
clear.
erased the memory of them having sex together, and I
Right, but
know
of them all together, like, I mean, like, no, he knew none of them? She erased the entire history of that group?
I guess so. I didn't
Because he
realize
didn't
that
know Coco either. He
yeah.
didn't know her. So,
I'd have to go back and reread that scene in the first book because I thought she just kind of, like, erased his mind of him knowing them in that situation, not the year of their relationship, of their friendship and everything.
I don't know. I thought she removed herself. Now, this is how I
Mhm.
interpret it. I thought she removed the memory of her, but not Coco necessarily, not
I've kind of remember her trying to wanting to protect Coco. So,
okay.
I know that made sense, but I didn't realize that, again, she'd taken their entire relationship out of his head.
But but when did she lose the memory of doing that? Because
I
in
don't
that
know.
moment, that was another conflict. Like,
Mhm.
Rita's like, "Did you lie about that? I asked you,
Mhm.
did you try to save your boyfriend?" And you said no. And in the moment when he asked her in the last book, I'm like, "Oh, she's lying. Yeah, she
Yeah.
did that." So, I thought that was just something else she just didn't wanna upset him? So,
That's what I thought too, and then she's acting like she has no it was so weird. It was so I see you drinking again and again. It
I'm
doesn't
like,
make sense. It's a giant plot hole. It was not clear for anybody.
yeah. I don't like that. Like, especially we're in the 2nd book.
Mhm.
I need to firmly know how things work.
Yes, at
And
this
even
point,
yeah,
yes.
and even if there's some tweaking, we might get into the next book, and because we throw gods in there, now we got a
Mhm.
little something else.
Mhm.
But, like, we should understand how the powers work
Mhm.
for Lou.
And even, Ansel was asking to be taught magic too, and she just brushed him off as like, "No, you're never gonna use it, you're never gonna learn it, whatever, whatever." But that would have been the perfect time for her to sit down and explain to us, the reader, like we're 5 years old, "This is how it works. This is why this does this." And yes, we know there's give and take, and sometimes that's painful, and sometimes it's just not even acknowledged. Like, there are a few times she made spells and nobody mentioned or she didn't mention, like, what she was giving in return.
Mhm. Yeah, strange. And I think she didn't want to teach Ansel just because so I guess we can assume that if you're not half witch, there's no possibility of you practicing magic.
I guess so. Yeah.
That's what I had to draw from that.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
I guess.
Which is, I mean, yeah, she tried teaching him how to use a knife, but still, like, you could try to teach him or teach him under the guise of actually teaching Reed,
Hmm.
because he would sit there and listen to you talk as you're
Hmm.
telling Ansel what magic is. And that
Hmm.
would give Reed, the ABCs. So
Right.
someday when he does need to use magic, he'll know.
Right.
But no, she just
Mhm.
yelled at him to use it in the middle of fights.
Which was weird. And then I don't know. It's just ick, ick.
Mhm,
I also was very confused and I did not go back, so maybe you can
mhm.
explain it. So when did Reed and his mother part in the
For
book? Because remember she just shows up again toward the end of the book. Like they were doing their separate task and she wasn't around. When he went to the wolves, she wasn't with them, was she?
No, she wasn't at the wolves.
And then he came back together with her when they went to see the king. So what was
Yeah,
she doing that whole time? Where was she?
I think she was still with the caravan. And that they were getting closer to the city, trying to figure out a way to sneak into the city, because she had booked them that hotel, and so they were talking about reuniting with her at the hotel room, and that's when she and Beau went to go meet the king.
Okay, I must have missed that because I'm like, what? Okay, because
It
I
was
just was
just like
like, all of a sudden
a
she was gone.
yeah. I think she just stayed with the caravan.
Okay. Mm. Anyway, it's just so
It's
many.
yeah.
It's like the more I think about it, like that's what happened last time. The more
Mhm.
I think about it, the
Yeah,
more.
yeah. Oh, yeah, no, the more I think about it, the more plot holes I'm finding and thinking of, and it's frustrating.
Yeah.
Like, I knew it wasn't gonna be perfect, and I had high hopes, but, like, it is better than Nora Roberts. I will say that.
It is better than the Nora Roberts trilogy. It is.
It is better than that, because at least in this book, each book so far, we have met the bad guy, we fought the bad guy, and, it's not the grand final battle win for all, but it is progressing along in a way that the Nora Roberts trilogy just never did.
So, speaking of progression, there's a clear line of like difference for me
Mhm.
as far as the pacing. If you look at my little things, you can
Oh,
tell
yeah.
where the half mark is. So,
Uh-huh.
the first part of this book was severely boring to me.
Mhm.
And then I literally got to like 50%, 51%. And I'm like, oh, that got interesting. And I'm trying to remember what exactly happened at that 50% mark.
If I had to guess,
I
that'd
think I
probably be
marked
around
it.
the time Baz showed up.
Well, maybe that is the part.
Yeah, like, that's
To me, that's where things started to get interesting.
mhm.
And that's halfway through the book.
Yeah.
So that first part was extremely boring to me.
Mhm. Mhm.
And that's a lot. That's a lot. And like in our Discord for the book club, so if you guys join us on book clubs, you'll have access to the Discord. People were saying they were at about 50% and they were like, should I quit? They were bored.
Mhm.
More than one person said that.
Oh,
And to
yeah.
me,
No, the
that's
first
not good.
it's not good at all, and there are so many things she could have and should have done to make that first half more exciting, and part of that is not make Lou make so many dumbass decisions, but
If this is what I'm in for with book 3, half the book being dull,
I hope not. I really hope not, because Lou is under mind control. We know the gods are here, and his sister is pissed. Lou wanted to herself go burn down her family home, but now the Blood Witches are like, no, we're going to mind control you and burn down the family home. Hopefully it's a little more exciting.
I guess. I don't know. Where's my wine? Take a sip. Okay, while I sip this wine, you guys, let's take a quick break. It's a commercial break. Check out these commercials and ads by listening to those. You are supporting the podcast. Feel free to hop on over to Amazon and ship a friend a copy of the book review journal.
Ooh, yes.
If you have a book friend and you know they have comments on books, but they're not writing them down, send it over to them. And we'll be right back. We're back, guys.
This book.
Let's continue. Casey, I feel like you were mid-thought there.
There are things I like about this book. There are things that annoy me about this book. There are things I can respect about this book, and there are things that I just truly hate about this book. So, in that sense, it succeeded in making me feel all of the feels.
Okay.
But they're not all good feels. So.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to talk about secondary characters, or?
Yeah, you kick it off.
I was honestly really confused as to why Beau was still here the whole damn time. And then we kind of got a glimpse of him at the end with his dad. And I was like, oh, that makes sense. But also, yeah.
His dad's like, you guys shut the fuck up, basically, or else.
Mm-hmm.
He says that to his sisters. And he tells him, you're going to be
disowned, banished, burned at the stake.
Mm-hmm.
I saw that coming just because Madame Reed's mom was always like, oh, he's such a kind man. He's such a kind king. And I'm like, this king is married, has 3 kids, legitimate kids with his wife, but like almost 30 illegitimate kids with people around the country. And you think you're special?
He's not.
You think like, he's kind
I will fuck
sweet
basically this entire town to keep having kids. I will win.
I was just like, what the fuck?
What? You gonna impregnate the whole town?
The whole kingdom? Every woman ever is gonna start having your babies? Like, no.
That guy is sick. Like, who goes around
just really
having
sick?
Kids? Like, that is insane.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I'm glad we kind of got to see that smackdown to be like, okay, yeah, no, the king is awful. No matter what she says or how she's like, oh, he'll never hurt you because you're his son. He'll never hurt you. I was like, bitch, no.
And
also,
she's like,
can we just take a moment to say, for all of time, no man has ever had magic. And yet, as soon as Reed, like, kind of does a little bit of magic, everybody's like, oh my god, he's a witch. This man is a witch. He's a witch. And everybody just accepts it. There's no, oh, men can't be witches. There's no, you must have misseen, or there was a woman there doing it for him. There was none of that. And I was like, excuse me. For centuries, you've said only women have magic. You built your entire church around only women having magic.
I know.
And then
he
you just
lied to his friend Jean-Luc or whatever. He could have just said in that moment when he catches him, he could have just said, you are mistaken.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I'm not a woman. I couldn't have done that.
When I think it was Philip was trying to attack him, he's like, oh, he has magic. No, the fuck he doesn't.
No. Someone must be doing that, because
a woman's doing that. And that annoyed me so much, because how can the entire world would not accept that? They would not accept it unless they saw a man doing magic in front of them. And he wasn't doing magic.
Yeah. Weird.
Anyway. I got sidetracked.
Yeah, I don't know. Oh yeah, his mother
was annoying.
So that scene where she says to the king, like, "Who are you? How could you dare treat your children like this?" And he like, "You
He's
don't
like,
know me."
bitch, of course I'm treating my children like this.
She's like, You left me." He's like, "What?"
It's
I
like,
mean,
you lied to me. You didn't tell me you were a witch. So
oh
why
my
do you expect
god.
me to be truthful?
She really has a distorted
Oh,
image of him.
yes. Oh, yes. She is blinded
Uh-huh.
by love and lust and the past and the fact that she hasn't been around him in 20 plus years.
And I'm sure she's getting that lesson right now as
Mhm.
he holds her captive and
Captive.
tortures her.
Yep. Yep.
Your ex-lover, baby daddy, is doing this to you.
The man you swore up and down was so kind and would
Mhm.
never hurt a hair on any of his children. Bitch,
Mhm.
no. No, he is the king. He's
Look,
ruthless. He's a bastard.
he's
Like,
like any king, like
mhm,
Henry VIII. All his wives thought he was the best thing since sliced bread until he turned on them.
mhm,
And
mhm.
then the
And
monster came out.
then
So as long as he liked you
mhm.
and y'all were having a good time, he was sweet as pie.
Yep.
Until it changed, and now you gonna see his wrath.
Yep.
Ugh, she's so dumb. You too
So
old to
dumb.
be this dumb lady.
Mhm. You work at a fucking brothel.
How
Why do
are
you
you
think the
this?
king is gonna be better than any other man?
Yeah,
Especially a king who is, like, cheating on his wife every day and has fathered over 30 children
exactly.
that you
That
know
makes no
about.
sense. That makes no sense. Like, why are you this stupid? Why are you this naive?
Mhm.
That doesn't click.
I expect that naivete from, like, Lou, because she's 19,
Mhm.
but not a 40-something-year-old brothel owner who's
Mhm.
been around the corner a few times.
Mhm. She should be the most jaded person of the group.
Absolutely. But
Yeah.
somehow she was, like, the most romantic, but also realistic when it came to the relationship between Lou and Reed, which was so hypocritical on her part too. Because she's
Mhm.
like, "No, the king is pure and he loves me, but you need to ditch Lou because she's evil and
Like,
erratic and awful."
she's like, "I know her mother. I know what's gonna happen to her.
Mhm.
She's gonna turn crazy,"
Which she is.
which
She
she is.
absolutely is.
But, though, I kinda feel like, and I know not all moms, but I feel like that's the moms and their sons thing, you know?
Yeah.
Like, "Oh, what I'm saying doesn't apply to me, only to you.
Mhm.
I know better. My situation's different, but you're my son. No one's good enough, especially not this hoe that's got a crazy mother." So, yeah. So I just think it's a little bit of that traditional, like, classic, what you expect from mothers and their sons type of thing.
Mhm.
I don't
Yep. Oh, yeah. Their relationship was all kinds of fucked up. I don't blame him for hating her now that she's alive and not dead. Um,
Yeah, I don't blame him at all. I
because
think
yeah.
that most people would hate being thrown in a trash can,
Mhm.
despite what reason they were given.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And she can't just come in and change 20 years of his life with some pear juice.
Which is weird because, again, very inconsistent. Because at the beginning of the book, he says, "Oh, what does he call her? Madam, whatever." Said A, B, and C. And Lou's like, "Wait a minute. Now you're listening to your mother over me?"
Mhm.
So, like, so he is very inconsistent as well with her. And I guess in one respect, I understand that because it's a complicated relationship.
Mhm.
But it just seemed weird. Like, one minute it does seem like he's listening to her, and then he does an about face, and then he's
Yeah.
kinda like, F you," and then he's like, "Okay," and then he's like, "They stole my mother! Oh my god!" I'm like, "Oh my god."
It was very much yeah, no, I think Lou said, "Oh, he needs a parent figure to follow because he just needs somebody to follow," and then all of a sudden it
Mhm.
was Lou he was following, except he was fighting her on it, and I don't know. It was It was all bad. It was all bad.
Yeah. Yeah, so I can't even say, like, and I know you are more about, as an editor, you can
Mhm.
see, like, the qualities in writing even though if the characters are bad or whatever, but
Mhm.
the fact that the pacing was so slow, I can't get past it. I can't
Mm.
get past how these characters she literally throws these characters every which way to make whatever she thinks needs to happen, happen.
Yeah, but it was so sporadic, and
Yeah.
it was sporadic and unplanned and like, Lou was off on her adventure with Ansel and Coco, and then all of a sudden it just ended, and then she was back with Reed at the camp, and I was like, "The fuck? How did she get back here so fast, and why?"
I know, and
Like,
then she just shows up on the
on
spinning wheel.
stage.
I'm
Yeah.
like, "What the?" That's weird.
I didn't like that at all.
And those 2 brothers, those characters,
I
the
kind
one
of
that
liked
had his
them.
tongue cut out.
Yeah. I was intrigued by them, but also, like, and, Reed was really annoying with them because he was like, "I have to try to fake friendship to learn about magic and trick them into helping us." And I was like, "Dude, you have magic. Just be friends. Talk to somebody who has magic and learn about it."
He's so awkward.
He was so awkward. I mean, that made me laugh because I was like, "Yeah, small talk sucks, dude."
Yeah. I don't know. And the card, like, I didn't quite understand what was the great importance of the card. Like, I understand, like, at the end, so, the guy kept saying, "You wanna
Mhm.
see your card?" or whatever. And, they
Mhm.
kept doing this game about this card, and then in the end, he's like, flips the card or whatever, and he's talking about and I'm like, "Okay, so maybe I was just done at that point,
Mhm.
and I was not engaging with the card material," but I'm like, "What is this supposed to be saying? Can you explain it to me, like, what the card was about?"
So it was more about just, like, showing, Reed how he was hiding and avoiding and not taking charge of his own destiny, taking charge of his own magic. He was like, I think it was the upside down fool,
Yeah.
which the fool is all about adventure and, taking a new beginning, a new start, kinda like taking charge of your life. And that was the opposite of Reed had been doing this entire book. He's been bumbling along. He was letting other people tell him what to do. He was letting his fears say, "I'm not gonna do magic because it's scary."
I still
Um,
think it was stupid because he figured this out on his own. He didn't
mhm.
need a card to tell him.
Yeah,
He figured
but the
that out
card was kind of
independently.
that outside representation of all of his internal struggle, which wasn't done well. It can be done well in certain books, but this time it missed its mark.
Extra words that should have been removed. It
Mhm.
wasn't important to the plot. It did
Mhm.
not matter because, like I said, Reed came to this conclusion on his own at
Yep.
the end. So to me, that was just more words that didn't need to make this over 500 pages. Take it
Mhm.
out. It didn't really have the effect that the author was heading for. If what you're saying is the effect that she wanted,
That's what
it
I'm
didn't
guessing
hit.
it was.
Take it out.
Yeah. But yeah.
That's just my 2 cents. I feel like there were quite a few things in here, like, she just puts them in.
Mhm. There was a
Like,
lot of
I
stuff that needed to either be fleshed out or cut.
like, even the wolf thing, I'm like, "Okay."
That was completely unnecessary.
Yeah.
Just, like, entirely, completely unnecessary. They didn't even need the wolves at the end. The wolves
They
did
didn't.
nothing
Exactly. That's why I'm like,
other
"Why did
than
we even
get
go there?"
captured, and now we're gonna have to save them in book 3.
But you know what? They could have been introduced in book 3, like, "Oh my god,
Mhm.
the wolves, we have to help them."
Mhm.
I just felt like that was more pages that didn't need to exist. So, technically with this book, I had so many technical things that I did
Mhm.
not like, as well as the characters themselves.
Mhm.
I'm trying to be better. I'm trying to like it more.
I
But this is what's
know.
coming out. This is what's coming out. These are
Is
my real
there
feelings.
any good part? A secondary character, a scene that made you laugh, anything?
I mean, the only scene I really, really thought was cute was the scene between Lou and Reed during the funeral procession. I thought that was adorable. I felt
Mhm.
it. I believed it in that
Yes.
moment. Um, what else? I don't know. I mean, I felt the scene between the god and Lou's mother was interesting. I'm like, what history is there?
Yeah, I'm
I
a little
want to know.
curious about that history because they're in love, but then she turned evil and he still loves her, but she doesn't love him. But that was long before Lou was born
The
because
weakness is
Lou's not
showing.
his daughter.
The weakness is showing. Like he still says, "I love this. You gonna
Mhm.
stop that?" She's at one point. She's like, "You left me." I'm like, "Oh my god,
I
oh my
mean,
god,
there was a scene
traditional
where
ass."
Lou was sitting there talking to him, and he's like, "Yes, I've been in love, and I still love her." And I was like, "That's not going to end well for anybody." Like,
No, no. So he can be manipulated. I feel like,
oh, I mean, he was when he let her go, and she killed Ansel.
yeah, like
Ugh! He should have killed her right then and there. Like, he did not need to be lenient. When you have an evil person who is killing people, and you have the opportunity to kill them, you kill them.
yeah, or at the very least, capture her so that your
Mhm.
sister can have words with her.
Yeah,
I
bind her up
mean,
and take her down to the underworld with you. Like,
yeah, that would have been ideal.
do you not see the body of the toddler floating around that she murdered herself? Like,
Yeah,
this woman is evil.
she is evil. So no, I mean, outside of that, no, I read this whole book. And no, there were nothing else that came together. Like I feel like I can't even really trust Lou and Coco's friendship because of the things we talked about
Mhm.
earlier.
Oh, yeah,
Like,
no, like, as soon as Lou set her on fire, I was like, "This bitch needs to walk out of here, or I'm gonna fucking riot for her." And then all of a sudden, Reed is like, "Yeah, no, she won't let me get mad at you for this." And I'm like, "Bitch! No!
I'm
This is
like,
not a friendship.
we not friends, girl. Look, I'm not
No."
gonna try to kill you, but I'm not gonna help you anymore.
Yeah, you needed to walk away, Coco.
Hmm.
Which, oh god, no.
Let's have her, it's like Lou has no consequence
Mm-mm.
for her
There are
actions.
absolutely no consequences whatsoever from anybody. Because
Yeah.
Reed will walk away, pout a little bit, and then,
And
like,
come right
mentally
back.
forgive her and come back, and then they have sex again. And
Yeah.
it's fine that she spewed bullshit in his face,
Hmm.
and that she continually lies to him, even though she says, "I promise I'm not lying, but I'm
She
keeping secrets," and that's not a lie, which fuck you for
She
semantics.
playing games in his face.
Mhm.
That is essentially the kind of person where for most people that would set them off in a rage. Someone is lying to you in your face and you know
Yes.
they're lying.
Yes, and then they're like, but I promise I'm
Yeah.
not lying. I'm not keeping secrets. It's a
Mhm.
secret that I can't tell you because you'll be mad if you find out your siblings are dying." Like, bitch, you did not have to keep that from him. That
Mhm.
was
That was
not
stupid.
okay.
That was dumb. If anything, that probably would have motivated him more
Mhm.
to learn his magic and
Mhm.
be vengeful.
Oh, yeah. No, she did not need to keep that away from him.
She think he a weak ass
Mhm.
because
Which he can be, but not
yeah,
always. And, like, if she had told him the truth, he would have done better. He would have
maybe.
been better.
Yeah. I don't know. The author, she tried.
She tried.
Just all I can say. She tried. And it was another miss. And oh my God, I listened to the audiobook a little bit too. And I am sorry again. Holter Graham is the worst narrator for a young man. Why would you now? Great. He is great as old ass wolf, right? As an old
Mhm.
ass wolf that's hundreds of years old, he's fine,
Mhm.
right? But as a young man, to hear this old sounding voice is wrong. This nasally old voice. So I have no problem with that guy. He is great as Charles in
Mhm.
Alpha and Omega series, no problem. Charles is old as dirt. Fine. This is a 20-year-old guy, basically. And
Yeah.
even when he reads the parts for the women, his voice is just no.
Ugh.
No. It's a hard no. I don't understand. So it's not fabulous on audiobook, and it's not fabulous in hardcover either.
Ugh. That sucks.
Are you ready to rate it? Let's rate it.
Let's rate
You
it.
ready? Okay, I'll continue my thought, then you can rate it.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
but with that said, I did look at some reviews, and a lot of people like the first book better than this one. A lot of people did.
Mm-hmm.
I am not of that group. I actually like this a little better than the first one because I feel like the author did a little bit better with like some of the issues that I had. Like I feel like her descriptions were a little better. It wasn't so obvious to me, although she did mistreat Coco still.
God, poor Coco.
But I feel like the flags for me that were blaring were only waving a little bit.
That's good. That's good.
And like I said, I was entertained for the last 50% of the book. So with that said, the first book I gave 2 stars. This one out of 5. This one I'll give 3 out of 5.
That's
It's
good.
still, it's not great.
Yeah.
It's not horrible.
But it's an improvement.
It's an improvement to me. Now, the people that were gangbusters, oh, I love the first book. Love, love, love. I saw a lot of those people say that they had the opposite reaction. They didn't like this one as much. So I'm curious, how did you come in on that, Casey?
So it is vastly different from the first book. But again, I appreciate the fact that we got to see their trauma and we got to stew in their trauma a bit. And it was annoying, but I like that. I like that she's not glossing over, oh, he killed his dad, it's fine, it's whatever. He was going to keep going off and being in love and being happy and all this good stuff. Like, no, we stewed in it. And yes, there were issues with that. It could have been done better, but I appreciate that. And so I'm going to give it 4 stars like I gave book 1. It's different from book 1, but I still appreciate what she did. And I am, 4 stars.
Okay. All right. So what kind of stuff are you expecting for the 3rd and final installment?
Hopefully there's more excitement from the beginning because we don't need to sit there and, hide and plan, and we have all the allies together and Lou is, not Lou, and hopefully somebody can go down into the underworld and save Ansel because I need Ansel back. I was literally like, I can get rid of Reed. Somebody else can die, but not Ansel.
So somebody help me. The paperback version of the last book is 612 pages.
Holy shit.
The fuck is this shit? So it's longer.
That means there's going to be a lot of slow pacing bullshit going on. Lots of drama.
So the tagline at the top of this one says, "A love that will burn for eternity."
Maybe they'll both die.
This one was still would that be horrible if I wanted that? I wish it would be great. I think it would be great. Like, let them both end up in the freaking cemetery. That would be great. I might actually like them then. Like, oh, y'all martyred yourself for some good cause.
Yeah.
I don't know. So, Gods and Monsters, the finale we are doing next month. Wish us luck. Wish me luck. Wish me luck. AC seems to be doing okay with these books. So wish me luck and hope this doesn't go back down to a 2-star.
I'm wishing you all the best luck.
And again, you guys, let me know. Let us know. Holler at Casey or holler at me. Do you agree with me? Do you think I'm just wrong and I'm not getting it?
No, I think you're absolutely right. I think like it was annoying, but I also appreciate it, if that makes sense. So
I appreciate it when the payoff is right.
Yes.
When the payoff is right, I appreciate
that
the
really
struggle.
fucked it up. That the ending was wrong. Yes.
Like, let me refer again to one of my most ultimately favorite series. Mercy's ass always be fucking up.
Yeah.
And she always reverts back. It's like what you think she got it right, she fucks it up. But
it works out in the end. It works out.
And it seems like she's a little bit better than she was before. So it's like inch by inch, we're going forward. And I understand that is a long running series versus a short series.
Yes.
But, and again, I will sing the praises of Patricia Briggs because this woman, as we've said 1,000 times, if you listen to this podcast, she knows how to write a tight, succinct book.
Yes.
And I appreciate that so much. I don't like 550 pages when half of them are boring.
Yep.
I don't like it. Cut this to 350 pages and give me full action and packed stuff for 350 pages. Do that.
Oh yeah.
That's just my 2 cents.
Would have been so much better.
Cut it down and leave us what's important. And leave the other bullshit, that the scenes we can throw away, the people we won't remember.
Yeah, no, there are quite a few characters we didn't even mention because fuck them.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of authors, and I don't want to presume to know that's what they're trying to do, but I feel like a lot of them are shooting for these vast, long, epic stories.
They want to be George R.R. Martin. But they don't know how to be George R.R. Martin, and he fucks it up too. So, like,
they're trying. That's why these books are so big. They think that we care about all these words. Don't. Okay, rant over. See,
it's done. Okay. We're done.
We're done. Okay, y'all.
Until next time.
Thank you for listening to this entire podcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe before you leave. Share this with someone who agrees with me. I would love it. I would love it so much. Introduce them to the Shelf Addiction podcast. We'll see you guys next month. Oh, don't forget to check out the after show available right now. See y'all. Bye, guys.
Bye, everybody.
Did you enjoy today's episode? If so, please head over to Apple Podcast or Spotify and leave a positive 5-star review. It's a simple action that makes a big difference. You can also like this episode on your favorite podcast player or share it with your fellow bookworm friends on social media. Joining the Shelf Addiction Patreon family is another way to support us. For as little as $2 a month, you can help our team create even more amazing bookish content. If Patreon isn't your thing, consider becoming a supporter on the Spreaker app for just $5 a month and gain access to exclusive audio-only content. You can find me everywhere, including Instagram, X, and TikTok under the handle Shelf Addiction. Join our book club of the same name on the book club's website and app, where we discuss all things bookish and more in a safe space. The Shelf Addiction podcast is a part of the Nerdy Maven Network. Thanks for tuning in.